Lebanon's highly regulated banking industry has helped steer the country safely through the global economic crisis, but can it dodge the fallout from the Arab Spring? Here to look at the challenges ahead for the Middle East and North Africa region is Mr. Raed Charafeddine, first Vice Governor of Lebanon's Central Bank. Mr. Charafeddine, welcome to INSEAD Knowledge.
Thank you.
There's been a lot of reflection on the political and social implications of the Arab uprisings, but what about the economic and financial impact in the MENA region?
That's an important question. I think the political dimension has been overrated, but unfortunately the social and the economic dimension have been underrated, despite the importance of that and despite that these factors are factors which have contributed to start with and triggered the uprisings that we have been witnessing. There has been lots of talk about the estimates. So far, the estimate is about close to $60 billion about the cost of we're talking about here the GDP losses and the fiscal losses.
What are the challenges facing the countries that experience the uprisings?
One of the most important challenges these countries have faced is the weak governance structure. And just political infrastructure and institutional infrastructure has been weak, to be politically correct, and that has to be addressed. Another challenge is that we have a strong demographics which is not taken care of. Lots of youth, 65% of the youth in the MENA region is under the age of 25. Because of this potential talent which hasn't been taken care of, this will cause a major challenge as well. They have to come up with jobs for them, they have to come up with a proper education for them, they have to prepare them for the next stage of their lives and definitely the next stage of the life of that whole country. Another challenge is that these countries have been facing, I would think of the inequitable distribution within each country. There's some inequities, wage distribution, wealth distribution within the countries, within the different social strata.
There are many short-term emergency measures currently being introduced, but what impact will the subsidies have for growth in the long term?
The way subsidies have to be addressed in this part of the world is different from the way Western subsidies have to be addressed, because a major part of the budget, household budget here, is food and energy. I think it goes up to 70% of their budgets, while in the Western countries it's somewhere like 5 to 7%. Accordingly, if subsidies have to be subsidized, if they have to cut subsidies, they will be impacted as well. So it's very important to look at how subsidies can be managed.
You mentioned the need for greater coordination between the MENA countries. How important is this for future growth?
I think it's very important. It actually takes more importance these days. We have to look inwards for leadership. Unfortunately, the world, the United States and Europe has their own set of problems, their own political and mostly economic problems. Accordingly, we just cannot simply look up for those who are in trouble, to help us out, to alleviate our own problems. This is why it's important for us to look inwards and to look at what kind of possible solutions are for our own problems in the Middle East and North Africa.
You've estimated the need to create at least 40 million jobs by 2020. Some people have put this as high as 60 million. Is this a realistic possibility?
It's a good estimate, or it's an accurate estimate, but how can that happen? It's hard for me to see that they can be produced. But regardless if these 40 or 50 million jobs were not been able to be produced within the next decade or less than a decade, it's important to go in that direction.
Given the ongoing political transformation and the instability of many governments, what can be done to boost investor confidence in the region?
The key to investor confidence and to foreign direct investments and to other potential investments in any country, let alone countries in turmoil, is the governance issue. And unfortunately, at this stage, a lot of these countries in transition do suffer from trust and their ability to govern, and in their because they have inherited weak structures. And so I think the key is to focus on the governance issues, on their political and on their institutional systems.
You've spoken about the many tough challenges for the region. How optimistic are you that countries can go through the political transformation quickly and move on to sorting out their social and economic problems?
I'm very optimistic. I think, but at the same time, I'm very realistic. We definitely know that the political transformation is only the tip of the iceberg. So we hope that what we have seen is not changing of rulers. Well, we really look for changing of real regimes with all its elements of these regimes to be more inclusive, to be more democratic, to be more participative and socially inclusive as well. Accordingly, this is the way to go. And I think, or I hope, that these people do see that. If not, if that doesn't happen, this Arab revolts that we have been seeing, or Arab uprisings, or Arab revolutions, will not actually transform into the desired Arab Spring. They unfortunately may end up with Arab disappointment, or Arab chaos, or Arab fall.
Mr. Charafeddine, thank you for being with us on INSEAD Knowledge.
Thank you very much.